Guess what? We're live!
Hey, guess what? Woo! It's just the Sky Kid. We're at Palace de Sheila Reno. We got the Knights of the Round Table.
Me, give points.
Josie. Betcher.
And on the phone with us this evening, we have Becky from Backyard Superhero, all the way from New Jersey.
What up, y'all?
Hi. Welcome and thank you for putting up with our ridiculous already.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, let's start with an introduction, who you are in the band, what you play, and because I know that there's a plethora of other people missing, do you want to give us a rundown of who those individuals are and what they do?
Absolutely. So if you follow us on our Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, you know me as your girl Jess. And what I do is I play baritone saxophone and I sing in Backyard Superheroes. My counterparts in the band, we have Josh who plays guitar and he is the other one who sings. We have Matt playing rhythm guitar. Gary plays the tenor sax and wears the short shorts. We have Brian playing trombone, Aaron playing trumpet, Greg on bass, and the newest member is Kyle on drums.
Ooh. So how long have you guys been into raising backyard chickens? I mean, been a band?
So we've been a band since about 2012 or so. And we've had plenty of members come and go. Actually, big shout out to Josh, Gary, and Matt. Oh, and Greg for being the originals of the band. So
that's more than, that's half. That's half.
Yeah, that's a pretty good track record. So, foreign players are hard to come by. So we'll take what we can get. But I've been in the band since 2017.
Okay. So that's 2 years, yeah?
Yeah.
So since you've been around, how many different lineups have there been? Or has this been pretty consistent since, minus the new drummer?
Yeah, it's been pretty consistent. So, yeah, actually, I was, Brian, our trombone player, was actually very happy to be dethroned as the newest member of the band once I joined. So, yeah,
Yay.
Fortunately, not too many changes, and, all is well.
Great. How did you come to be in this group?
So, back in the day, so when I was in high school, I was a very big band nerd. So I actually marched drum corps back in the day, and I played cymbals on the drum line. So that was where I met Bruce, the old trumpet player, who also marched in the same corps with me. And then he told me that he was joining a ska band. I said, yo, that's awesome. I'll come watch you guys. So back around 2013, I started out as, number one raving fan, and then it's been history ever since. So upon Bruce's departure, Brian had asked me, he's like, do you want to come play in the band? I'm like, all right, cool. And we talked about having me come in and record and things like that. But it was never an official thing until then. So yeah. And then, just making friends with everybody along the way has been super cool, even before being in the band.
Is this your first band that isn't, high school or concert band?
It is, yeah. So, when I was younger, I used to perform a whole bunch of open mics and things like that, but never had a consistent band to play along with. So, yeah, this is my first steady band, if you will.
Cool. So, here's a question. Was it easy to transition from, say, only sheet music from a concert band setting to we're all just going to get together and kind of play and listen to each other and come up with music? Or are you so organized that someone writes out the music for you?
I am very much a, learn things by ear type of person. That's just the way I've always been. So even though I'm classically trained, that's a natural skill for me. So it was pretty easy, all things considered, and it also helps a lot with everybody being so open-minded and so supportive of ideas and one another, more importantly. So, we just, we get in there and make it work. We say, all right, try and play this line. Let's do some counter melodies to go with it, and boom, we have a song.
And so we've had, who else have we had? We've had, whatchamacallit, Houston and the Dirty Rats from Jersey on with you guys. And I think coming up, or I hope we didn't already miss it, it's you guys, Joker's Republic, and Houston and the Dirty Rats, yeah?
That I'm think our next show that we planned is just Thanksgiving with Suicide Machines. But we've played plenty of shows with Joker's Republic before, so I'm going to be totally honest. I may not remember all of those.
I was gonna say there was a flyer recently on like this New England ska page that had that. It was red and white with little people dancing on it.
New England.
Little people dancing on it. It wasn't the Skamicon one, right? We had Crash the Owl Party and Brett Level Burgundy and Sergeant Stagnetti on that one.
I don't know, but we've had Sergeant Stagnetti on this show too. So
that's rad. They're rad.
This is interesting because when we interviewed Houston, he was like, the scene in Jersey is very small and kind of close knit. So have we interviewed all of Jersey now? How many other bands in Jersey do you guys play with?
Let's see. So I have to give a very special shout out to our friends, the Schwam. They're awesome. They're from northern New Jersey. Let me think. You may have interviewed everybody from New Jersey. Wow. That's a milestone. But also, we've got some work to do here.
Yeah, what is, we interviewed Houston months ago. So what is it like out on the East Coast, being in Jersey, where you're kind of situated in a nice spot where you could travel very easily to other bigger states?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, we're lucky, we're definitely very fortunate because we have Asbury Park pretty much right in our backyard. So a lot of people will think of that as, all things rock and roll. Once you play in Asbury Park, you've pretty much set the scene. So, so that's a big one for us, but that scene is also ever evolving. We're super fortunate to have the cooperation and partnership with Brighton Bar and Long Branch, which Long Branch is, kind of ritzy glitzy, so it's a little strange to have like a little dive bar within the city limits, but it's still pretty cool and it gives it a lot of charm. And the Brighton Bar's been around forever too, which is super rad.
Where are all those rich people gonna pick up hookers anyway? They like to commit sin in the dark too. No.
But no, I mean, it's just the scene here. Like I said, ever evolving, I think is the best word for it. Because we used to have New Brunswick, which was like a pinnacle of the punk scene. Bands like Bounce of Souls, the Smithereens, Gaslight Anthem, all of those bands have made their debut pretty much in New Brunswick. But Jersey City is starting to come alive with ska and other punk. It's always changing. So it's exciting, and it's great to have so many connections close by who, everybody's very supportive of each other and, always willing to say, hey, I'm throwing together this show. You want to come hop on it? And, it's just a really cool collaborative effort.
That's what I was going to ask was, do you have one or more bands that you work collaboratively with to help support each other, not only with setting up shows, but say they ask you and you guys can't go, are members going to those shows? Is cross-promotion being done? That sort of thing. And if so, who is that with?
Oh, yeah. I would say Austin from Joker's Republic has done an amazing job of really helping to keep the scene alive and continuing to grow it. So he's our number one. So shout out to Austin if you're listening, doing awesome stuff here in New Jersey. So he's our number one there in terms of promoting each other. But the Schwam is also really cool with promoting us, and we love to try and make it out to their shows. It's a little difficult because we're pretty much like in the lower half of New Jersey. They're up north, so it's not always easy to get there, but we're happy to do so anytime we can.
Just for relevance and for those listening who are like Midwesterners, what distance are we talking when you talk about where you're located to northern New Jersey?
So let's see, we're probably talking about, I have to do the math here. So we have one road that runs from north to south called the Garden State Parkway here. Yep. And it goes from the very tip of New Jersey all the way to the very bottom, way South Jersey. And I want to say it's about 150 miles of road. However, we were pretty much from smack dab in the middle of that. So I want to say probably about a 30-mile radius between here and North Jersey and that whole scene.
Right, so it's probably like an hour or so away.
It's less.
Yeah, that's on a good day without traffic.
Right. Now, talk about, too, relation of where you are to the city. Because then you're probably...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so actually, I live, well, most of us were, pretty much grew up, like, right by the east coast of New Jersey, so, and there's a train line that gets you into Manhattan in an hour. So, yeah, super, super convenient.
Do you, stay local and play most of your shows locally in New Jersey, or do you guys kind of do weekend warrior trips where you're traveling outside of the state, or even, taking a little bit longer time, a couple hours to travel to New York?
Yeah, we pretty much stay local. The one downside to New York, and I would say probably the only downside to New York, is that it's just so freaking expensive to get in. I mean, we're talking at least like $30 in tolls just to drive into New York. So it's a little expensive. And especially with 8 of us, we have to make sure that we're getting our fair share, that we're getting compensated fairly too.
That sucks.
You're like, fuck it, I'm staying here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little bonkers, but if there's like the right show popping up where it's like, what, guaranteed pay, great. You don't need to bring people, great, but we'd appreciate if you do, then we'll totally take up that opportunity. But the nice thing too is that one of the last shows that we played up in like Schwam and Joker's Republic Land is you can pretty much see the New York City skyline like from the highest point of that town. So I mean, it's kind of close enough.
Your trash
Not
heap's
quite,
really
but
tall,
almost
huh? So is that 30 in and like 30 out, or 30 total?
That's like 30 total.
Okay.
I know like the bridges and tunnels I think are about $13 a piece,
Nuts.
maybe $15 a piece. I think it's 15 a piece and 13 if you have like the automated Easy Pass tolling and all this other stuff.
So
the way of the future,
well, here's the thing, all right? So as much as we're like, ugh, that's gross, do they at least maintain their fucking highway? Is it pleasurable to drive? No, okay, so if that's the response, then where the fuck the money go?
Yeah, corporate greed, taking down the man.
Right.
All that stuff, all that punk stuff,
Yeah, politicians are the most punk ever. They say fuck you to everybody. Just
Pretty
saying.
much.
They're like shitty
Pretty
Robin
much.
Hoods.
They're like what?
They're like shitty Robin Hoods.
They're like shitty Robin Hoods?
I like that. That's awesome.
So, with that kind of being said, when you guys are booking gigs, first off, you mentioned if it was a guarantee and you didn't have to bring people and you got money, like that's a thing. How often does that happen?
For Manhattan, not too often, unfortunately. A true story. I won't name names, obviously, because that's not cool. But there have been a couple of times where we've been asked to play shows on like a Thursday night in Manhattan, but we need to bring 40 people. It's like, what? Huh? What are you talking about? And even though that was a guaranteed pay, so it was like, what? Huh?
You know where it's always guaranteed pay? At Union Park Tavern if you book with Jess the Ska Kid Sunday nights, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Just saying, that's a guarantee. Guaranteed. We can offer that. We do that.
After SuperHeroes Midwest Tour, what?
I was going to ask, what is the goal for your group? Will there be a tour? I often wonder with these people that we've talked to now from east to left coast if we will ever meet you in person.
Well, we would love to meet everybody, that we've talked to far and wide. So, I don't know. That's a big maybe. I think most of us are getting to the point in our lives where it's like, half the band is married or getting married at some point this year, and kind of settling down and doing adulty things. But at the same time, we'd like to have a couple last hurrahs, out and about on the road and have some more tales to tell. So, because if you talk to any of the original guys, ask them about the city of Pittsburgh and how much they love it.
What? Yeah, I bet that with the tone, they love it a lot, huh?
undying love for the city of Pittsburgh, apparently. I don't know, this was before my time, but I've heard enough stories. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, so that's how that went.
Have you done like your own state tour? Is there enough of that to happen?
Not necessarily. Yeah, I mean, we haven't really done anything around the state, going hopping from place to place, but we do have some connections up in the Massachusetts area. So we're thinking, we are on the fence about, hey, let's go up to Boston. Let's hit some of the college towns and have a grand old time there. So,
I mean, with them, if you headed that way, Connecticut has a good scene too.
They do. They certainly do. So, which is, to me, I mean, I know Connecticut from, having family up there and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, Connecticut is full of non-rich people, but now I'm seeing some awesome stuff out of there too. It makes me wish I was a little bit closer. But, it's tough to say.
You have family in Connecticut?
I have family, like, all over the place, which is,
Where in Connecticut? Where in Connecticut? Can I ask that?
Do you know where Richfield is?
I think that's north central of the state.
That Richfield, if I remember correctly, is like pretty much on the border of like Westchester County, New York.
Yes.
And Connecticut, so somewhere like right along there.
Mm-hmm. So
yep.
My family is from Fairfield.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Which is right on the Sound, and we can look over and see the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't. I'm not rich enough to own a beach house there. But
heard that.
My aunt does. So
that's pretty rad.
I've been there twice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's what's up. But yeah. It's definitely cool though to see what everyone's doing up in New Haven, and I feel like I see the most out of New Haven, which is super awesome.
So with your group being so very large, because 8 people is a lot to try to amass in one spot and B, coordinate with, how often are you practicing and playing out?
So practice is a weekly routine for us. So typically, the good thing with all of us is, we all say, hey, when's everyone available? Which even for a smaller group is a challenge, but I don't know how Wednesdays came to be, and I guess all the stars aligned and all the planets aligned and said, Wednesday's your day, guys. So.
Wednesdays.
But yeah, typically we are practicing every single week, and then in terms of playing out, we have some surprises up our sleeve for later this year, and hopefully middle of next year. Hint, new music, in the works. I shouldn't say possibly coming, definitely in the works. So in terms of playing out, I mean, we're pretty much doing 1 to 2 shows a month for now.
Are you guys, is this the sole project for all of you, or are some of you in other projects, or do your own solo thing, or?
I believe Kyle, our drummer, has his own band that doesn't really play out too much, so we're pretty much like the main performer for him. But as for the rest of us, this is our fully committed project. But I will say the worst part about adulting, if you will, is our jobs have pretty much taken over our lives. But it's one of those things where if we could make some great friends across the West Coast ska scene, or really just anywhere, making some good friends in the touring world. I don't think any of us would doubt for a second that we would love to just drop everything and just play music.
we would love to just be able to do this show.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Slow and
New Jersey
steady.
isn't cheap, unfortunately. So
I know. So with your group, as far as the name, can you speak as to how you all became the Backyard Superheroes? And do you wear a gimmick like the Aquabats?
So what's funny about that is when the band was like in its beginning stages, most of the band would wear costumes. So there are some solid gold pictures of Gary in some sort of superhero costume. The old trumpet player used to wear a sombrero, and I think Greg used to dress up in something too. I don't remember what the whole getup was. It's a little blurry, but that's what Facebook is for. But in terms of the name, I'm not actually sure how that got there. Maybe Josh would be willing to explain that at some point in the future. I'll have to tag him and
make him answer that question on the video later. Yeah. Do that.
Sorry, say that again?
We talked over each other, so then there was just awkward silence. Now we get to start fresh with a whole new part of the conversation. Ready?
All right.
No. So, as far as you've alluded to, there's some wink wink fun new music coming up. So have you guys been busy recording? And if so, when can folks anticipate new music? And talk a little bit about the recording process.
So right now we're still just writing. So no ETA on recording just yet. But in terms of the recording process, usually, we'll start with our rhythm section, get that solid foundation down, and then that gives horns a little bit more time to go ahead and just record separately, so you don't have any bleed from instrument to instrument. And then, also refine and just keep on embellishing parts. The way that we see it, horns are pretty much the biggest embellishment, and then the rhythm section is pretty much the bread and butter. We're just the fancy mayo chuck that you may put on the sandwich.
Oh, wow. So are you guys recording through a studio? Do you have a friend that records you, or are you doing it in-house, like as a band through somebody's basement?
So we actually, I'm going to go with a hybrid answer of yes. So historically speaking, we've recorded with Ryan Weil, our old drummer. He runs his own studio out of his basement.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he is Weil House Recordings. He does some really, really, really great work. So, like I said, if you've listened to any of our older stuff, Let's Get Dangerous, and the more recent album, Never Give Up, Never Surrender, that was all done by Ryan. And then we actually get our master by Len Carmichael of Landmine Studios. So as far as what the future holds, we'll see. I don't think we have a plan in place just yet in terms of who or where we're recording with, but it's definitely in the works once we have all of our new material solid and ready to record.
So then let's talk about writing. Since you're in that phase now, what does that phase or process look like for your group? Is there a primary person that takes on the responsibility of saying, this is the lyrics, here's what I have in mind, go ahead and write this? Or does everybody contribute? How does that writing process look for you guys? Explain that.
I would say that the writing process is pretty much rhythm section based. So Josh is pretty much the resident songwriter. The large majority of any Backyard Superhero song you hear, lyrics have been written by Josh. But it sounds like we're trying to make that a little bit more collaborative. I didn't do too much of the songwriting on Never Give Up, Never Surrender. And I pretty much came in to learn the songs and record for that and play those songs live. I love songwriting. I never thought I was good at it for the longest time, but now I'm starting to kind of branch out and feel comfortable with the things I put down on paper. So I have a couple songs that I've thrown together. So I know Gary has done quite a few things here and there. So for the most part, it is a pretty collaborative effort. It's not just one person's responsibility, because at the end of the day, these are songs that all of us are going to play. So, if there's an idea that doesn't necessarily belong in a song, we're okay saying, hey, wait, record that as a voice memo. Let's come back to that and let's make that something different. Because, with 8 people in a band, you can't please everybody at the same time, but you can still compromise to make things work.
I mean, how often is there Discord, or do you all easily just kind of push past any sort of upset that could be?
I would say, I mean, we're pretty much very open-minded when it comes to writing and ideas. So I don't feel like we ever hit, or we don't really feel much of a sense of discord when it comes to writing new stuff. So even though it may not come along naturally to all of us, we're still, we'll just say, hey, cool, we like this. How can we make this better and just grow and make it a cool product?
So besides having music digitally, which we know as we will play off of Bandcamp later this evening, did you guys make physical copies of your albums? Did you make any records, tapes, etc.?
Yeah, so we actually have CDs for everything. So the other great thing about being located where we are as well is that we have disc makers not too far from us either. So CDs are a nice thing for us to have. We do end up selling a lot of those at merch. So we'll continue to keep getting CDs made up for us. But we would love to do vinyl at some point. We're actually talking about potentially, maybe, hopefully doing a split.
With who?
With one of our counterparts. So not sure who yet. We're still. This is in the idea stage, but we'd love to go ahead and put that out because all of us are really big vinyl collectors. Well, I shouldn't say all, but most of us are pretty big vinyl collectors too. So we would love to have a funky shaped backyard superheroes vinyl in our collection too.
What color would it be?
Green.
What color would it be?
That's a good question. We use a lot of green because, you've seen the album cover for Never Give Up, Never Surrender.
I know.
We love that neon green. We love that slime ball we've named Seymour Slime Ball.
Okay.
So we love Seymour. I suggested getting like a picture disc of Seymour. But we also love flexi discs too. So Catbite just recently, they released some flexi discs and they've been selling those at their merch table, and Bad Time Records has been selling them too, which is rad. So, and those are always they're a fun thing to have.
I would say as far as looking into having a vinyl press, I would talk to Chris from the Pandemics or Allie from Stop the Presses.
Right on.
Because both,
yeah.
And they're right across from you, right there in New York.
Yes, we know Chris very well. He's a very good friend of ours. So, yeah, definitely, on the list of things to look into and people to talk to. So.
Yeah, a good lime neon green would be appropriate. My kids were like, "What is that thing?" And I was like, "They're like, is it a booger?" I'm like, "I don't know, maybe." So at least now we have a backstory a little bit to tell them. So that'll work.
Yeah.
As far as upcoming shows go, can you speak as to what you guys will be doing and where folks can catch you guys out and about?
Heck yeah, I can. So our winter so far looks a little sleepy, but we'll be coming out of hibernation for the winter, I'm sure. But next up, on November 30th, right here in New Jersey at the Starland Ballroom, we are sharing the stage with Goldfinger, Big D and the Kids Table, the Planet Smashers, who else? Kill Lincoln, Catbite. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but yeah, that's going to be great. So we've actually sold out of our commission tickets given to us by the venue. So if you're interested in going, if you don't already have tickets through us, unfortunately, y'all are going to have to pay those access fees.
How did you get that gig?
So that's how did we get that gig? So we know Brent from pretty much every ska band out there from We Are the Union, and his work with all those West Coast bands out there. But I think he helped us get on that show. But we are pretty tight with the box office management at Starland Ballroom, so because we're no strangers to that stage either. Last time we played there was with Less Than Jake, I believe. Less Than Jake, and then before that was with Real Big Fish. Yeah, so we played our fair share of shows at Starland Ballroom, and they're always just so good to us too. So it's always a treat for us to be back on that stage.
So really what you're saying is you got your name because you don't play with local groups so much as you just jumped right to the, like, main thing there, hey?
I mean, we have to get that. We have to get there somehow.
Yeah.
Actually, back in the day, in the early days of Backyard Superheroes, a good friend of ours would host a literal backyard campout, in the garden part of the garden state. And it would just be a wild, wild time with band playing and just, it was, I still hear lots of stories about this, and it's been 5 years since the last one.
So, I mean, since you have been bragging a bit, why don't you go down the list of who are the big names you've played with? You've listed a few, but talk about who you've played with that's significant and how you managed to do that, because that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I'm like, do I sound like I'm bragging? Because, if you meet me in person, I'm like,
okay, it's all right to
I
brag.
don't.
Number one, it's okay to brag because we all have goals and they've now been obtained, right? So that's good. Number two, it was nothing negative. And number three, sarcasm button. So go on.
That's totally fair. So let me go down the list here. So my first big show with the band back in 2017 was with the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. That was another Starland Ballroom show. And so we knew the talent buyer for Starland because, he's worked his way up. He had worked his way up the ranks between local divey venues, Asbury Park, and, just kind of going from venue to venue. So that's, a great relationship that we have there. And actually at that show, Dickie Barrett came out wearing a Backyard Superhero shirt. So we have pictures, which is pretty rad. So that was kind of like, I'm like, this is it. I peaked at my first big show.
And then keep going.
Okay, yeah. So Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Less Than Jake, we love. Big D and the Kids Table. Let's see, Dave McLean always joins us on stage for our cover of Knowledge. So that's always just a really, really cool relationship we have there. And actually, I do have to say, I really do have to give Josh most of the credit here. So aside from, having a 9-to-5 and then playing in the band, he also runs a photography business with his fiance. So he's had the opportunity to photograph a ton of really cool bands and build a relationship that way. So I can't really confirm if that's how the Big D and the Kids Table relationship came about, but I feel like that sounds relevant and correct. So, so Big D and the Kids Table we've played with a bunch of times. I'm trying to think. Wow. I'm just like...
Here's an easier question. Who would you want to play with?
So we've been trying to get a Pilfers and Backyard Superhero show.
You've been trying? You've been trying to do that? Do you think I can do that?
Yeah.
I bet you I can, because I know who books them, and Cooley was on our show not more than a couple months ago. So
yeah, Cooley knows who we are, which is pretty awesome. Again, one of those just super awesome connections to have. Around the ska scene, but also, just around New York City too is just incredible. But yeah, we're trying to get, I would love to do Pilfers. We've played with Mephistopheles a ton of times, but, they're always a blast to play with. And yeah, who would we want to play with? Wow. Now, does this have to be like current bands, past bands? Can we like time travel here?
If you want to, I'm okay with being creative with your response.
Let's see. I would love to play a show with Edna's Goldfish.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody listening would know who that is.
I know the name actually.
Yeah, right?
I don't know the-
Challenge.
Look it up. There's Google. High five.
Use your
Yeah.
Google
What about the
Go
pie
ahead.
tasters? Did you hear me?
What?
I said, what
Did I
about
just miss you?
what about the pie tasters?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the Pie Tasters, love them. I'm trying to think, did we ever play with them at some point? And by we, I mean the band before I walked in. Yeah, I can't remember. I know Josh has like an entire list of bands that Backyard has played with. And it's pretty lengthy, so at this point, another humble brag here. It might be harder to list bands that we'd want to play with. But yeah, I'm trying to think, we've played with Westbound Train before.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Westbound Train, actually, they played the This Is Croydon Fest at one of the breweries in the Philly metro area. And yeah, it was just, what a great time. That was like a ska festival, ska fest. I mean, that's, Supernova is, the ska fest. But that was like, for a little, for a whim, at a brewery, close to Philly, but also close enough to New Jersey. That was, what a great show. So, the guy, what's up?
Do you folks plan on traveling down to Supernova?
I think some of us are planning on doing that. Yeah, 'cause we had a blast last time we played. So, and, Tim and April have done a really great job of, maintaining just the scene altogether, but also, really keeping in touch with us, even though we were not selected to play. Still, we can't appreciate them enough, and for all that they do for the scene. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that at least the majority of us should probably be heading down there. So if anyone's heading down, come say hi.
So speaking of that, as far as your music being played other places, before we play your music tonight, will you have been on any other platform besides live? Has it been released to radio stations? Have you been on Viva Ska Radio? Has Tazzy from Ska Parade played you?
Yeah, I believe we've been on a bunch of podcasts too. So we've done 23 Minutes of Ska. Pretty sure we've been on Ska Parade. But yeah, so we're on Spotify. We're on the Essential Ska playlist. Actually, our song Mary is on there. So that's pretty sweet. But yeah, a lot of the local college radio stations here have played our music before. So actually, not even just the college radio stations. Now that I think about it, there are some iHeart stations that have played our music, which is pretty rad. So, and what's great is that FM radio out here is kind of, I don't know about you guys out in Wisconsin, but FM radio is kind of few and far between in terms of having new music on there. Usually it's just sports radio or oldies or talk radio.
Yep.
But there's a lot of the stations here do a really, really great job of promoting local music, regardless of genre, which is super awesome. It kind of took us by surprise, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, you guys play these shows. We know you're a ska punk band. Come on and talk about your music with us." Especially because down here we have a lot of, I don't want to call them wannabes, but we have a lot of aspiring Bruce Springsteen. Let's call them that.
I can believe that.
Tight pants.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, great, another hard rock band.
Right.
Or another blues rock band. But, to have an iHeart station play a ska punk band,
Flags.
and really just showcase us is just super, super humbling and super awesome. So we're very lucky there.
I'm gonna question these guys over here at the round table. Do we have a radio station that plays anything local that isn't hard rock?
Sometimes the college station.
Kenosha or surrounding cities.
Kenosha, Northern Illinois, which does not touch Chicago, so Lake County, and then
I listen to NPR, I don't know.
I was on NPR. How was it?
I think NPR sometimes does locals. That's based out of Lake Geneva, isn't it?
What? NPR?
Consistently, no.
No.
I'm pretty sure the answer is no.
Yeah, consistently.
Yeah, because I sent a
No.
bunch of
Yeah,
music
no.
when I did
No.
the NPR stuff, and they were like, "We can't play this on the show." And I was like, "Why? You asked me for local people, regardless of genre," and I scared them with our mild submissions of things. It wasn't even like anything
No, well,
crazy.
this was years ago. The first time I heard a college radio station like locally like actually play something that wasn't like mainstream. It was something that was like from the 70s.
Ah.
Well,
Our radio station, which fought to get, when I was there, the first time was not FM, it was internet based. So we had all genres, no local. It wasn't until I came back that we played some local stuff. And that was
Wow.
very minute because a lot of those bands don't have physical copies of things. And you have
Right.
to have that for most underground stations because they're not using most often a digital platform. And if they are, it's something that you have to find somewhere on the internet that is compatible with the system they're utilizing.
Ah,
So,
that makes sense.
boo, but quick geography lesson, Becky. Let's do this.
Oh
Where do you think we're located in Wisconsin?
gosh. I'll be honest, my Midwest geography is absolute garbo.
Where
So-
is Wisconsin? Let's start with that. What Great Lakes touch us?
Is this the part where I do my Tina Belcher stage fright night?
We're gonna shepherd crook you off the show.
Use your
Um,
Google.
we're gonna let you know Superior and Michigan, Lake Michigan and Lake Superior touch Wisconsin.
Use
Which
Wisconsin.
one?
We're a
Closer
mitten.
to-
Got a bad bap on my koozie there. You can
We're
barely
a
see it.
mitten.
It's bad.
So what state's below us? Do you know that?
From Wisconsin?
Bunch of fibs live there.
I felt like I knew this at some point, but I don't.
I know where New Jersey is. I've driven through your state. Validate me.
I know,
Tell
I'm
me
so
I'm pretty. No, I'm kidding. Illinois is below us. Minnesota is northwest of us. Iowa is to the west of us. And then to the east of us across the Great Lake there would be Michigan. And then Indiana,
Oh, nice.
Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New
don't
York.
forget about Canada
Connecticut.
and the UP.
That's way up there.
The UP's still part of Michigan there,
Yay!
See, I've heard of the Upper Peninsula. I've been to the part of Michigan that, like, you can see Ontario from there. So, like, I've
Okay.
been to Marysville, Michigan. But
Turn the other way and you could probably see Wisconsin.
right on, right on.
So, how about merchandise? Since we've talked a lot about, your group recording imagery, that sort of thing. How about
Yeah.
merchandise? What you guys got to sell?
So, we have a ton of shirts. We'll actually be getting some more relatively soon.
Sure.
I'm thinking after Thanksgiving, so probably beginning of December, we should have that stuff online through our Big Cartel website. So definitely keep your eyes peeled. If you don't follow us on social media, please do. But also, we'll be posting updates as soon as we have them, really for any band, updates. But especially for, if you want to get your hands on a Backyard Superhero shirt, we'd love to send you one.
I want one.
You want one?
I do. I'm
All right, DM me, and we'll get you one.
Okay. Awesome. So with that, do you have stickers and buttons and that sort of thing?
We do. We love stickers. We love buttons. We have shirts. We're trying to figure out what kind of new merch we should invest in that we don't already have.
Do you have beer
Um,
koozies?
What's that?
Do you have beer koozies?
We don't, but we're really, that's a popular one that we're hearing about. So we may be getting those. We'll see.
So
We'll have to do some shopping.
Really cool merchandise that we've acquired from people who've come here have been koozies, have been bookmarks, have been bracelets, like the plastic, Live Strong bracelets.
Oh,
Ah, yes.
This was
Comic
a very
books.
vendetta one.
Comic books. We got a comic book.
Who we get
Comic
from?
book.
An SOA.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
What? I
an
didn't know.
SOA.
didn't
Zach
know.
does.
That's right.
Did I
Yeah,
know
so far we've been hearing frisbees, koozies, and
Frisbees!
patches.
Frisbees would
Oh,
be cool.
With all those pounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Have like a bright green frisbee, just flying it at you, like, that'd be fun.
So who came up with the imagery, the artwork for your band?
So that was actually, there's an artist who's down in Australia. I think she goes by Boogie Bandit. But Gary found her on Instagram because she actually did some artwork for Real Big Fish. So sure enough, he sent her a message and said, hey, I'm in this band. We really love your work that you've done with Real Big Fish. How would you like to commission something for us? So, and she nailed it. I mean, she crushed it with that artwork. So we're very pleased and eternally grateful.
It's really cute. I really like that Never Give Up, Never Surrender album. Snot Booger. He's cute.
So, and a fun fact too, the physical CD, like the CD itself is Seymour Slime Ball Snot Booger. Yeah.
Aww. Where can people?
Yeah.
Where could people purchase these merch items?
So they're not up just yet, but in the near future we will have them up at backyardsuperheroes.bigcartel.com.
So I know that we're approaching the top of the hour, and we have a whole nother hour of music to play for you guys. So we're gonna wrap up. Where can people find you, Becky, online? Where do you want to direct traffic after they've listened to you now?
If you want to give us some more listens, we are on Apple Music, Spotify, Bandcamp. But as far as our socials, we are very active on Facebook. We will post a video every week at practice, and usually it's Gary and I doing something really silly. So if you want a good laugh, tune in there. But also Instagram, our handle is Backyard Superheroes. And yeah, you'll usually see me posting something kind of silly. We like ska memes too, so we'll usually post those on there.
But do you like mozzarella sticks?
Oh my god, I love mozzarella sticks, and they are indeed very ska.
I love them too. I don't know why every single random human being on the face of this planet, even if they haven't talked to me in fucking 10 years, are like, I saw this thing and it made me think of you. You're the only one I know that likes ska.
And it was probably the original tweet that said ska is what music, or it's like the music to when a 13-year-old kid gets mozzarella sticks at TGI Fridays.
Correct. And
Yep.
and then I'm just like, but the mozzarella sticks though, like it's fine you thought of me,
What
but
if I
did
ate
you
it
also
with a fucking fork?
do you eat them with a fork? How do you eat your mozzarella sticks?
Once chapsticks.
I mean, forks are for peasants.
You can dip them.
Ooh.
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
I've eaten pizza with a fork and knife.
Communist.
But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, hit us up, follow us, get a good laugh, heckle us. And yeah, we're always happy to interact with everybody on there.
I know that you guys are on our playlist too. Jess the Sky Kid has a playlist on Instagram that these guys are featured on, and it's
Spotify.
yeah. What did I say,
You
Bandcamp?
said Instagram.
Instagram? Sorry, I don't know. Too many social things.
You were saying mozzarella? You were
Spotify.
just thinking
I
about
was thinking
mozzarella
about
sticks.
mozzarella sticks. I was like, that marinara would be good though.
Now I love mozzarella sticks, gosh.
It do.
It do. But
It'd be like
Spotify, we do have you on our playlist for that, and we will be playing your music off of Bandcamp tonight.
Whoop, whoop.
There you go. I'm better now. Thank you. In closing, do you have any well wishes, things you'd like to say, Becky?
I just want to thank you guys for having me on here. I want to thank everyone who's supported us, started from the bottom and now we're here. So
Whatever,
you know,
you weren't on the
it's-
bottom very long, whatever. I'm just
I don't
kidding.
know, man. It's been 7 years since the band started up. So it's definitely, for the original members, it's been a fun ride, and we can't wait to just keep on shredding with you guys, and hopefully y'all enjoy us for years to come.
Oh, I'm sorry, I sneezed and it's really gross. You want to watch some fun stuff? Watch this video afterwards. We're being gross. Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you, Becky, for joining. I'm going to finish with the boogers hanging out my nose. Fuck you guys. Thank you, Becky, for joining us. And I can't wait to hear new music, hopefully next year. I hope you guys send it to us so that we can play that. And after a short break, we will be right back with Backyard Superheroes so you can hear what they sound like. I gotta go blow my nose. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
And with that, I'm gonna go blow my nose. After a short break, we'll be right back. Okay, thanks.
Bye.
It tastes good.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Come on